Attention shoppers, we now have taste in the bread aisle. Dave's Killer Bread. That's right, an organic bread that doesn't need 3 spoonfuls of sriracha jam to delight your taste buds. Dave's Killer Bread is a 21-grain salute to the end of boring bread. A brand on a mission to make the most out of every loaf, to rid the world of GMOs and artificial ingredients, and plant the seeds of good in all that they bake. But Dave's Killer Bread has done more than raise the bar on bread. In fact, Dave's Killer Bread was built on the belief that second chances can change lives. When its founder, Dave, the guy with the guitar you see on every loaf, returned to the family bakery after 15 years in prison. Dave took that chance and ended up creating what would become the country's #1 organic bread, while never forgetting his not-so-easy path. That's why at Dave's Killer Bread, they proudly practice second chance employment, hiring the best person for the job, regardless of criminal background. And by the taste of it, things have worked out rather well. Dave's Killer Bread. Bread amplified.
Every day, my company gets scam phishing emails trying to get money or sensitive info. I wanted to protect my employees and my clients, so I checked out CISA's Secure Our World. They've got simple ways we can protect our businesses from online threats. First, teach employees to recognize and report phishing. Next, require strong passwords plus multi-factor authentication. And finally, turn on automatic updates for your business software. To learn more, go to CISA at cisa.gov/Secure Our World.
Presenting the adventures of Jungle Jim. The Adventures of Jungle Jim, broadcast weekly over this station, are dramatized from the full-color action pictures to be found in the Comic Weekly, the world's greatest comic supplement that comes to you each week with your Hearst Sunday newspaper. Join the 11 million adults and 6 million youngsters who make their weekends more enjoyable reading the world's greatest comic and adventure pictures by the world's best artists, featured in every issue of the Comic Weekly. He insists on the Sunday newspaper that brings you the Comic Weekly. With Stone and his henchman Punchy dead, Jungle Jim and Kitty prepare to escape and find their way back to the coastal town of Nahia. When Kolu blows up the ammunition hut, the natives flee in confusion to the jungle. Taking advantage of this confusion, Jim and Kitty make a break for the jungle, but Kolu meets them and reports that their escape is cut off by the presence of hostile natives. To reach their boat at the edge of the river, they must pass across an open clearing in the jungle. Jim and Kolu formulate a plan whereby Kolu is to draw the attention of the natives while Jim and Kitty make a dash across the open country. When Jim and Kitty finally reach safety, Jim covers Kolu's retreat, and the three finally make their way down to the river where their frail little native boat is hidden. With Jim at the helm and Kolu at the stern, they battle furiously down the river through hostile country in one last determined effort to reach safety. At dawn, they take refuge in a rocky cave on the riverbank.
We're getting into enemy country again. I think we'd better quit trying to travel in daylight. There's still plenty of hostile natives roaming around, and we've got to play safe. Kitty?
Yes?
You'd better get all the rest you can. This is going to be a tough trip. Try that bed of dry grass we fixed up for you there. You'll need all the sleep you can get.
All right, Jim. I must admit this outdoor life is a bit strenuous. Guess I've got to get hardened to it.
Kolu, I've got a job for you to do.
Yes, Tuan.
I want you to get a few hours sleep and then push on ahead of us. You should be able to get through this open country alone. It's much shorter by taking an overland route to Tony's headquarters. I'll give you a letter to him. With Stone and Punchy dead, these outlaw natives are without a leader. Now, without an organization, they won't be able to carry on their campaign. So it's up to Tony and his men to strike now. A quick blow should bring these natives to terms in a hurry.
You still have map of this country, Tuan.
Yes. Here it is. Right here. It's the one Tony gave us. Now, we'll mark out a course on it for you to follow. And here we are. Now, we've been following the river from the side of that old mining camp. See, it's marked there.
Yes, Tuan.
Now, let's see. Here's where we are now. Yeah, right at this bend in the river, where it changes its course and flows to the west.
You want Kolu to go to south and east, cross this way.
That's it. Now, over here to the southeast is the town. Judging the distance roughly, I reckon it's about a 2-day trip from here. Following the course of the river, it should take a week to 10 days. So you can see we can save time and get word to Tony in a hurry by sending you ahead by the overland route.
Be very good plan, Tuan.
Okay. Now, you lie down and get 8 hours of good sleep. You can start in the cool of the afternoon and cover plenty of ground before dark.
Yes, Tuan. But how you get sleep and rest?
Don't worry about me, Kolu. I'll stand guard here until you get your sleep. I'll take a cat nap after Kitty wakes up. Go ahead now. Get your sleep and be ready to get going. All set, Kolu? Here, I divided up the supplies. This bundle is yours.
Yeah.
And here's the letter I want you to deliver to Tony Lowry. And here's a map I've drawn for you to follow. Now, keep as close as you can to the general directions I've marked, and you should come out okay.
I will, Tuan. I go now. Goodbye, Tuan.
Goodbye, and good luck, Kolu.
I thought I heard voices. Where is Kolu going, Jim?
I'm sending him on ahead by a short cut. An important message for Tony Lowry. We'll continue down the river. Oh, I almost forgot, Kitty. Here's some breakfast for you. I've just had mine.
Oh, leave me to it. I'm hungry enough to eat anything.
Flapjacks, coffee, and a little smoked meat. May not seem very appetizing, but it's the best we have to offer.
Don't apologize, Jim. Just show me where it is.
Here we are. Help yourself, Kitty.
Oh.
While you're eating, I'll tell you what I found in those papers you stole from Peter Stone.
Oh, I'm anxious to know. The only one I had a chance to look at was that government notice from Manila.
Oh, you mean this one. Wanted for murder. Harry beat Bozell.
Yes, that's the one. His picture is on it.
Yep, right. And judging by the rest of these papers, Harry Bozell was quite a character. Murder and arson were his two principal rackets, although there's a little gun running and smuggling to be accounted for.
But how did he manage to palm himself off as the real Peter Stone?
Oh, this clipping here explains that. It tells how a young man named Peter Stone, whose ancestors were rulers of Mejia at one time, was lying ill in a charity ward in a hospital. It goes on to explain that a generous old friend of the family's came to his rescue with money and medical aid.
Oh, I see. And now you think that this generous old friend of the family's was Harry Bozell.
Exactly.
Oh.
This Harry Bozell figured by befriending young Peter Stone, he might cut himself in on control of Mejia Island.
I see that, but then what happened?
Well, out of gratitude for the help Bozell offered him, Peter Stone told him the story of how his ancestors once ruled Mejia Island, and that he was the sole heir. Now, right then and there, Bozell knew he could work a very nice, profitable deal. But then fate stepped in again. Young Peter Stone had a relapse and died. Well, that simplified things for Bozell. He became Peter Stone, came back here, and began to lay plans to seize the island.
And he would have succeeded if it hadn't been for you.
No, I can't take the credit for his defeat. And what's more, this little war isn't over yet. And now, Kitty, I've got a job for you. A mighty important one.
What is it, Jim?
Well, I've got to get a couple of hours' sleep. I stood watch while Kolu rested. And in order to be able to take you safely back home, I've got to get a little rest before we start out on another long night of travel.
Well, I'm quite capable of taking my share of the guard duty, Jim.
Good. Now, all I want you to do is sit here in the shadow of the cave and keep your eyes and ears open. But remember, stay in here. Don't go roaming around outside. In here we're safe, but if you get out where you can be seen, some of those natives will spot you and it will be all over.
Don't worry, Jim. I'll follow your instructions to the letter.
Good. Now, if you see or hear anything unusual, don't hesitate. Wake me up at once. But don't make any noise doing it. Just reach over and tug at me. I'll wake up all right.
Very well, Jim. You just go to sleep and leave the rest to me. I'm going to prove to you that another side of Kitty St. John you've never suspected. From now on, I'll show you that I can be just as good a jungle campaigner as your Mr. Grill.
Refreshed after a few hours' rest, Jim and Kitty resumed their perilous journey through the jungle. For 2 days and nights, they traveled down the river through enemy country. In the meanwhile, back in the town of Nahia, Tony Lowry, Lil, and their staff are working out plans to resume the offense against the natives.
Now then, Wilson, you say that Raula's scouts report that there are quite a large band of hostile natives awaiting word to attack us again?
Yes, Mr. Lowry. Raula's scouts report that they are waiting for rifles and ammunition. As soon as these arrive, they'll attack us again.
That means that Stone must have a supply base somewhere in the interior. keeps these natives stocked with arms and ammunition.
Well, that was one of the reasons that Jim and Kolu made that trip into the interior. If we could only get some word from Jim as to how strong Stone was and what his source of supplies are, we might be able to plan this attack.
Lil, I'm afraid that we're not going to hear from Jim.
Well,
I hate to appear pessimistic about things, but I'm rather doubtful about whether we'll ever hear from Jim again. As you know, I was against that expedition from the very beginning. We agreed to wait a reasonable length of time before giving up hope. Well, I think 6 weeks would be considered reasonable in this case. But it's been over 2 months now. And with my knowledge of Stone and his methods, plus the fact that the interior is swarming with hostile natives, I don't think we'd better count on any word from Jim.
That's putting it politely. In other words, Tony, you think Jim has failed. Or perhaps been killed.
Lil, I hate to be blunt about it. But yes, that's my opinion. I don't think Jim's alive.
I questioned Raoul as scouts, and they don't know a thing about any other white men but Stone and his chief lieutenant, Punchy.
Well, regardless of rumors, reports, or what you may think, gentlemen, I still think Jim will come through.
I appreciate your unshakable faith in Jim, Lil. But please remember, Jim is human, like the rest of us. His day had to come, like everyone else's.
Lowry!
Oh.
Mr. Lowry! Mr. Lowry. Mr. Lowry, a strange native runner has just come. He's not one of our natives. He looks like an East Indian.
Yes.
He just ran up to the door outside and collapsed. He's badly wounded in the left side.
Yes?
Looks like an East Indian.
Yeah.
Quick, Tony, quick. Let's go. It may be Kolu.
Who is the stranger at the door? Is it Kolu? Did he make a superhuman effort and come through the enemy's lines without a stop? Before this broadcast comes to a close, here's a special message from Jungle Jim himself.
Well, fellows, it's spring again. And I suppose you're all bringing out the old baseball bats and gloves and starting to hit the old ball around in that empty lot near your home or over on the school playgrounds. Baseball is a grand sport. But you know, there's lots of kids in other lands, in Finland, Poland, and China, and other countries, torn apart by war. Boys who don't get a chance these days to play ball. And girls who don't play hockey or any games at all. And because of the war, many of these kids are hungry, too. And some of them don't even have any homes left, or any mothers or fathers to take care of them. We're pretty lucky here in America, all of us. And that's why a lot of children are playing ball with the Children's Crusade for Children. You can join with your friends, and with other boys and girls your own age, in boosting this Children's Crusade to show how appreciative you are of the freedom and fun you enjoy in this great country of ours. There are many ways in which other children are taking part in this big nationwide Children's Crusade. A crusade to help less fortunate kids abroad who don't enjoy the liberty and happiness we enjoy in the United States. You can find out how you can join in this Children's Crusade to help other children from your Boy Scout or Girl Scout director, from the Campfire Girls or Girl Reserves, High Y or 4-H Club, or in any of your other groups. Or you can ask your teacher about it at school. You'll find it'll be great fun to join.
Thank you, Jungle Jim. Remember, boys and girls, look for Jungle Jim in the full-color action pictures to be found in the Comic Weekly, the world's greatest comic supplement containing the best full-color adventure and comic pictures. Remember, no other comic supplement can give you the top names of Cartoonland like the all-star favorites to be found in the Comic Weekly. The whole family follows the fun and frolics of Jiggs and Maggie, the Little King, the immortal Donald Duck, as well as the exciting adventures of Flash Gordon and Jungle Jim. Join the 11 million adults and 6 million youngsters who every week find the greatest of home entertainment in the Comic Weekly, which comes to you with your Hearst Sunday newspaper. More thrilling radio adventures of Jungle Jim will be heard at the same time next week over the same station. Be sure to tune in.
Virginia. Did you know the law protects patients from surprise medical bills? Insurance companies and hospitals post cost information online. You can request a good faith estimate 3 days ahead of hospital care. Know your rights as a healthcare consumer. Visit controlyourcare.com to learn more about patient-focused healthcare laws. ControlYourCare.com can help empower your healthcare decisions. Paid for by the Virginia Hospital and Healthcare Association.
Lucky Land Casino, asking people, what's the weirdest place you've gotten lucky?
Lucky? In line at the deli, I guess?
Aha, in my dentist's office. More than once, actually.
Do I have to say?
Yes, you do.
In the car before my kids' PTA meeting.
Really?
Yes.
Excuse me, what's the weirdest place you've gotten lucky?
I never win and tell.
Well, there you have it. You can get lucky anywhere, playing at LuckyLandSlots.com. Play for free right now. Are you feeling lucky? No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+. Terms and conditions apply. See website for details.